I never thought I'd say this out loud, but my own sister once hired private investigators to prove I was lying, and ended up exposing her own fraud so big that even I didn't know how deep it went. Before I tell you how everything fell apart for her, make sure you hit follow, because this story will make you rethink what family really means. My name is Lila, I'm 32, and for most of my life I was the soft one, the forgiving one, the sister, who let things go because it was easier than fighting. My older sister, Brooke, was the opposite, loud, charming, dramatic, and somehow always the victim, even when she was the one starting every fire. The story starts the night my dad passed away. He had been sick for months, but none of us knew he'd rewritten his will. I was the one taking him to his appointments, helping him eat, helping him shower when he became too weak to stand. Brooke? She showed up twice a week for pictures with him, posting inspirational captions for likes. At the reading of the will, the lawyer looked tense before he even started. Dad left his savings to be split evenly. That part didn't shock me. But then he announced something else. Dad had a private account I'd never heard of. And that entire amount, a surprisingly large one, was assigned only to me. Brooke didn't speak. Her jaw locked. Her eyes narrowed at me like the lawyer had just slapped her on my behalf. I wasn't celebrating. I didn't even understand what was happening. I kept saying I didn't know about it. I swear I didn't know. Brooke stood up, shaking. You manipulated him, she said. You were with him every day. You influenced him. I didn't, I whispered. Dad made his own decisions. She stormed out. I thought she would cool down. She didn't. The next week, I noticed two men in a black SUV parked across from my apartment. They weren't subtle. One even waved at me when I caught him watching. At first, I thought maybe they were construction workers or some security detail for a wealthy neighbor. But then I found the note taped to my door. You can stop pretending. We'll know the truth soon. There was no name, but Brooke's handwriting was impossible to miss. She used the same dramatic loops since middle school. I called her. What is wrong with you? I asked. You stole from me, she hissed. I'm just collecting proof. Proof of what? That you manipulated Dad, or you forged something, or you were hiding something. You think I'm stupid? I hung up before I said something I'd regret. I cried the entire night. I couldn't believe she'd go this far. 2 days later, my manager pulled me into HR. They had received anonymous inquiries asking if I had been financially extorting a vulnerable elder, my own father. Brooke had contacted my workplace, pretending to be concerned. HR had to investigate, even though they said it felt ridiculous. I realized then she wasn't angry. She was obsessed. And she wasn't going to stop. One evening, a man knocked on my apartment door. He wasn't threatening, just tired-looking, like he hated his job. Miss Lila, I'm from Asher Investigations, he said softly. Your sister hired us. My stomach dropped. I can't discuss the case officially, he said, but I can say this. Please be careful. She wants something badly. And she's pushing us to dig in places that could get messy. What does she think she's going to find? He hesitated. Honestly, I think she hopes you slip up. I wasn't rich. I wasn't doing anything illegal. My life was boring. Work, groceries, sleep. But Brooke didn't want truth. She wanted ammunition. Strangers were digging through my trash, interviewing neighbors, tracking my financial records. The investigator told me she was paying triple to speed things up. That's when I called my aunt, Dad's sister, the only person who ever really understood how manipulative Brooke could be. She said, honey, something else is going on. Brooke isn't this mad over money. Something is scaring her. I didn't believe it then. I thought Brooke was just being Brooke. Dramatic, entitled, self-centered. But I was wrong. A month into this nightmare, I got a call from the investigators. Not Brooke, not a lawyer, the investigators themselves. They wanted me to come to their office. When I walked in, the lead investigator, a woman named Cora, looked uncomfortable. We need to talk, she said quietly, privately. Her office blinds were closed. Files were spread out. A photo of Brooke on her wedding day sat on the table. This isn't about you, she said. What do you mean? We found something about your sister. Something she didn't intend for us to uncover. I felt my heartbeat in my throat. What did you find? I asked. Cora slid a folder toward me. I opened it. Bank statements, transfers, online purchases, legal documents. At first, I didn't understand what I was looking at. Then my eyes caught a pattern. One that made no sense. Money was missing. Not from Dad's accounts. From Brooke's husband's accounts. Large sums. Spread across 8 months. He doesn't know, Cora said. I looked up sharply. How do you know? We interviewed him, she replied. He thought we were just checking background information. I stared down at the papers. Brooke is stealing from her own husband. No, Cora said. Worse. She pulled out another sheet. A life insurance policy. My sister's name listed as primary beneficiary. Her husband wasn't even sick. Why would she tried to change the payout frequency, Cora said. Multiple times. Impossibly suspicious. I froze. What are you saying? Cora took a breath. We're legally obligated to report this. Something is very wrong. My head felt like it was filling with static. Brooke hiring investigators to dig into me wasn't about anger. It was panic. She needed to distract someone, anyone, from what she was actually doing. If her husband found out, if authorities found out, she could lose everything. Even go to prison. But why involve me? I whispered. Because, Cora said gently, she thinks you'll fold. You always have. It was a punch to the chest because it was true. I always folded. But not this time. As I drove home, shaking, I realized something else. The investigator who came to my door weeks earlier, he knew. He couldn't tell me directly, but he was warning me. That night I couldn't sleep. Brooke wasn't just selfish. She wasn't just dramatic. She was dangerous. My phone buzzed at 3 a.m. Brooke. I didn't pick up. Then she called again. And again. I finally answered. What do you want? Her voice sounded unstable, like she'd been crying for hours. Lila, you need to come to the house. Now, please. I need you. Why? Because they're asking questions I can't answer. Please, Lila, please. Her voice cracked. And for a second, she sounded like the sister I used to share a room with. The sister I used to protect. Against my better judgment, I agreed. When I reached her house, the lights were on. Her husband's car was in the driveway. He wasn't supposed to be home for 2 more days. I walked inside slowly. Both of them were in the living room. Her husband looked furious. Brooke looked destroyed. He turned to me first. Did you know? He demanded. Know what? I whispered. Brooke started sobbing. Lila, please, help me. Her husband pointed at her. She said you had something to do with it. My stomach twisted. With what? He picked up the folder of evidence. The same one the investigators had shown me. With this. Brooke screamed. I panicked. I told him you were lying about Dad. So he would believe I wasn't lying about. She covered her face. About what? I asked quietly. Her husband's voice dropped. Tell her. Brooke didn't move. Tell her, he shouted. She looked up at me with swollen red eyes. And then she said something that shattered everything I thought I knew. Lila, I didn't want him to find out that the policy wasn't for him. My blood ran cold. Then, who was it for? Her lips trembled. And right when she whispered the name, the front door opened. I turned. Standing there was someone I never expected to see in that house. Especially at that hour. And the moment I saw their face, I realized the fraud wasn't even the worst part. When the investigator placed that second file in front of me, I swear my heartbeat felt louder than his voice. He stared at me like he already knew something I didn't. This, he said, tapping the folder, is about your sister. I didn't say a word. I couldn't. My palms were sweating and my mind was racing. All I could think was, what could Mia possibly be hiding? He opened the folder slowly, like he wanted me to really feel the weight of it. Inside were bank statements, insurance claim documents, signatures, my signature, except I never signed any of them. He slid one paper toward me. Do you recognize this? I swallowed hard. No, that's not my handwriting. That's what I thought, he said, because the forensic comparison shows a 95% mismatch. It's forged. I felt like someone had unplugged the world. Forged. My sister forged my signature. On what? He flipped another page. This is the form she submitted, saying she was acting on your behalf during your father's life insurance case. She claimed you were mentally unfit to handle finances during the time. Here, these are the medical statements she included. I froze. Medical statements? From where? I've never been hospitalized for anything mental. I pushed the papers away like they burned my hands. This is all fake. Every bit of this. And that, he said, leaning back, is exactly why she hired us. Because she was terrified you'd find out. My stomach twisted. But then why accuse me? Why go after me so aggressively? He sighed, because people who are hiding something always assume everyone else is hiding something too. Paranoia works like that. I sat back. My chest felt tight. My sister didn't just try to expose me. She tried to bury me. She tried to cut me off from the insurance payout by pretending I was unstable, while committing actual fraud. The investigator closed the folder. Now, the part you need to hear carefully. Mia didn't hire us directly. She used a dummy email and paid through untraceable methods. But her mistake was sloppy. She connected once from her home Wi-Fi. I felt my entire body go numb. That was the moment everything clicked. She didn't just want to prove I was lying. She wanted evidence she could manipulate so I'd never be able to claim anything, legally or emotionally. She wanted me erased. I whispered, "Why are you helping me now?" He crossed his arms. "Because we don't like being used to commit fraud. And your sister's entire story falls apart when examined. Also," he looked down for a moment, "she didn't just forge your signature on insurance paperwork." I looked at him slowly. "What else?" He pulled out one last document. A loan agreement under my name, with tens of thousands I never borrowed. I stared at it so long my eyes blurred. "She took out loans?" My voice cracked. "Under my identity?" He nodded, "and defaulted. That's why creditors will start contacting you soon. She planned to blame you for financial instability before those letters reached your door." My throat went dry. I couldn't breathe for a second. My sister was trying to destroy my entire life while pretending she was exposing me. I leaned forward, gripping the table. "What do I do?" He smiled faintly. "That's up to you. But here's the part you'll need for whatever comes next." He pushed a flash drive toward me. Every recording. Every transaction. Every forged form. Every email. Everything she did. All of it. My hand shook when I picked it up. "Why give me this?" He stood up. "Because she messed with the wrong people. And frankly, you seem like the only one in your family who isn't insane." I left the office with the flash drive feeling like I was carrying a bomb. When I reached home, I sat in my car for 20 minutes, staring straight ahead. I didn't cry. I didn't scream. I didn't even think. I just stopped feeling. Later that night, I sat on my bed, laptop open, the flash drive plugged in. Every file was neatly organized. Every lie. Every forged signature. Every recording of her talking about how stupid I was and how easily she could control things. And then I found a video file. I clicked it. It was a recording from 3 months earlier. My sister are sitting at a dining table, laughing with my mother. Mia said, "Don't worry, Mom. Once the investigation proves she's lying, we can officially argue she's unstable. Then everything Dad left behind will be safe in our control." My mom said nothing. Then Mia added, "Besides, she's too naive. She won't fight back. She never does." My mother's reply came softly, "Do what you need to. Just don't let it get messy." I paused the video. My ears rang. My hands shook. Not from sadness. From something darker. A slow, cold anger. They both knew. They both planned it. They wanted to strip me out of the family legally, financially, emotionally. I thought I was alone because I was quiet. But I was alone because they chose to cut me out. I whispered out loud to myself, "Okay, fine." That night, I made a plan. A plan that scared even me. A plan that, if successful, would expose them publicly, legally, and emotionally, and take back everything they stole. The next morning, I called Mia. She didn't even hesitate to pick up. "Are you ready to confess?" she said with that smug voice. I didn't play along. "I want to meet, face to face." "Oh, finally ready to stop acting innocent?" "No," I said quietly. "I'm ready to tell you everything." She paused, probably thinking she'd finally won. "Good, come to Mom's house tonight. We'll settle this as a family." I said, "Perfect." I hung up and stared at my reflection in the mirror. I didn't look scared anymore. I looked like someone who had nothing left to lose. That night, everything would break. For the first time in years, I wasn't the quiet one. I was the one holding the truth. And the truth was about to set me free and burn them alive. I grabbed my bag, put the flash drive inside, and walked out the door. I was ready. Ready to end this. Ready to face them. Ready to watch their world crack open the way they tried to break mine. When I reached my mom's house, the lights were already on. Both of them were sitting in the living room, waiting for me, smiling. Mia crossed her arms. Okay, sister, let's hear your confession. I stepped inside calmly, closed the door behind me, and said, Oh, don't worry. You'll hear everything tonight. I put my bag down slowly and took out the flash drive. Their smiles fell instantly. And before any of them could speak, I pressed play,